This Easy Work Boxing about to hit you everywhere but under your feet with this one. Please like and comment and subscribe to the videos, but most of all, please subscribe to the videos. I'm about to hit you everywhere but under your feet with this one, you feel me? If you're looking for the real deal and the truth in boxes, no bias talk, then holla at your boy. I'm right here. But you know, this is my video for my boy Keith Thurman. You know, I've been hearing a lot of shit. You know, I hear a lot of niggas talking bad about my boy. You know, Keith Thurman this, Keith Thurman that. Keith Thurman is scared of this guy. Keith Thurman is scared of that guy. You know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman faking injuries. Keith Thurman is not the #1 welterweight. Keith Thurman ain't doing what he's supposed to do. Everybody's resumes is better than Keith Thurman, which we all know is bullshit. But the main resume I'm going to pinpoint on is the one against him and Errol Spence. You know, because everybody else you can want to name is really under his belt and has taken a loss from Keith Thurman if you want to put the top welterweights under his name. All right, Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? Clearwater, Florida, trained under Dan Burnham, one of the best trainers out there, and trained Winky Wright, Jeff Left Hook Lace. I always tell y'all that. Which Winky Wright was the undisputed champion. Do you understand me? And y'all already know how I feel about the undisputed champion. Okay, Keith Thurman is 28-0. You know what I'm saying? No contest. Ain't nobody ever stopped him, beat his ass. So therefore, he's undefeated. He's an undefeated fighter. Former WBC welterweight champion of the world and still the super WBA welterweight champion of the world, which he vacated his belt. It didn't come from a loss. And he wasn't stripped, besides what other people want to say. All right. First, we're going to go into Leonard Bundu. Leonard Bundu was 32-0 when he fought Keith Thurman. True enough, he lost to Errol Spence by knockout. But this is about my boy Keith Thurman. And salute to Errol Spence for winning by knockout against a fighter that Keith Thurman has fought. But Keith Thurman went out there and beat him first. So whether it was 12-round decision or not, he clearly outboxed him. He switched stands just like Terrence Crawford from Southpaw to Orthodox and beat Leonard Bundu's ass. And he gave him his first loss. Okay, Lando Lara. A lot of people don't know a lot about Lando Lara. Lando Lara, I think, is like 29 and 8. But he has beat Hector Camacho Jr. And if you really know about boxing, you know that coming up, Hector Camacho Jr. wasn't no joke. He was to be like the next, you know what I'm saying, highlighted top fighter in boxing, Hector Camacho Jr. Then he beat Diego Chavez. Diego Chavez was no joke. Diego Chavez almost whooped Tim Bradley ass. I don't know what happened in that fight, but somehow, some way, Tim Bradley came out with the win. Before he beat, hold up. I'm talking about Diego Chavez. Diego Chavez was an undefeated fighter who was at the top, who they was expecting to lose to Keith Thurman. But Keith Thurman stopped Diego Chavez with a body punch, and he shut all shop down. But if you watch that fight, it wasn't just a body shot. It was an accumulation of punches that Keith Thurman came out there and defeated Diego Chavez. And like I said, Diego Chavez almost got in Tim Bradley ass, and that was almost a lot for Tim Bradley. Next, we got Soto Carras. This is the guy that beat Andre Berto and beat a guy before coming out beating Andre Berto. So he wasn't coming in with no losing streak and fought Keith Thurman. If you know anything about boxing, you know that Soto Carras was no joke. Soto Carras had an aqua fighting style, and he was able to be in the top welterweight that was out there. And he had power to him. He even caught Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman outboxed him and ended up knocking out Soto Carras. Next, we got Julio Diaz, 40-9, ex-world champion. Luis Collazo, ex-world champion. Which everybody wants to sit and talk about the fact that Keith Thurman got hit with a body shot from Luis Collazo. But they act like that fight made him take, that punch made him take a standing 8 count, or that he was knocked out. He withstood the punch and he came back and he stopped Luis Collazo. Luis won't say it's from an eye injury, but this is an ex-world champion. He started feeling that power from Keith Thurman and he didn't want no more. Because why else would you almost win with a body shot, and then the next thing you know, you quit because you have a cut? And this is a man who has a WBA title? Come on now. Use your common sense. He clearly quit. Okay. Now we got Robert Guerrero, a guy that Floyd Mayweather beat. He won a bond when Floyd Mayweather beat him. But now when Keith Thurman comes up and get him, ex-champion, now he's over the hill and he's a bum and he's a gatekeeper and this, that, and the other. But he called him out, he beat him. Next we got Carlos Santana, ex-champion. Keith Thurman went out there and stopped him. And let me mention to y'all, some of these fights was at the WBO too. You know what I'm saying? Because he started out at 154, then he went down to 147. And now, we're going to go on to John Zabit. He fought him for the super welterweight title. Beat him. Beat him for the WBO welterweight title. 32-2. Then we got Brandon Hoskins, who Keith Thurman outboxed. The guy was 16-0, beat him. Now, we all know that from the amateurs, Keith Thurman didn't learn how to box until he was coming up in the game, which he had losses from Demetrius Andrade, another guy I'm a fan of, was a great technical boxer. But Keith Thurman been out there and beat him once. Okay? Then we got Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. Back-to-back ex-champions. Top 10 opponents who he went out there and fought even with injuries. Injuries in both fights and came out on top. A lot of people want to say Sean Porter won. Sean Porter did not win that fight. Sean Porter was throwing the punches that he always throw, but Keith Thurman was landing the punches that counted. It was clearly a close fight, but we all know that Keith Thurman won that fight. Against Danny Garcia, please. Danny Garcia didn't do shit. And we all know that. And he got beat with this guy having an injury on his right elbow. But the question I want to ask everybody out there is, has Errol Spence fought the number of ex-champions in the fighters that Keith Thurman has fought? For the guys that's out there saying that Errol Spence's resume is better than Keith Thurman. Has he? Because all he's fought is Chris Algieri, Lamont Peterson, Kell Brook, I can't even think of the last. No, the last guy he fought, he just recently fought, was not Ocampo. He was nowhere near a champion. He was undefeated, though. But has Errol Spence fought the number of fighters who have been in with good fighters and have had belts like Keith Thurman? No. Has Errol Spence ever held 2 belts at welterweight? No. And I'm not saying he won't, but has he? No. But yet he's the king of the welterweights. Come on now. What's up with your boy Errol Spence not fighting Yorcius Ugas? His second mandatory for his belt. I know a lot of y'all like, who the fuck is that? Yeah, who is that? Why hasn't the Lion went and fought this guy? Why has he mentioned his name? See, I don't want to see Errol Spence go and fight no more Ocampos, guys that we don't know. This is a black fighter that's out there clearly saying that you are ducking him. So we want to see you get in the ring with him, Errol. Why are you not mentioning this man's name? Huh? Why are you not mentioning this man's name, but you're lying? Well, I know what y'all gonna say. Oh, Errol Spence wanted the unification fights. He don't want to go and fight no mandatories. No, it's a lion. It's somebody who calling out a lion. Why haven't you fought him? Why haven't you mentioned his name? But you clearly calling out my boy, and we don't know when he gonna come back and fight. Sad to say for me too. I don't know when he gonna come back and fight. They just said August the 4th, and now they saying they're gonna be sometime in September. I don't know. All I hope to do is see this man come back in the ring. But I'm not gonna let nobody sit up here and say that Errol Spence is the motherfucking #1 welterweight in the world when Errol Spence ain't nowhere on the level of a Terrence Crawford and doesn't have the resume of a motherfucking Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman resume from him fighting ex-champions is damn near on the level of a Terrence Crawford. I'd rather somebody say that Terrence Crawford is the number one welterweight before you say Errol Spence. Who the fuck has he fought? Who? Who has been in the ring with experienced fighters and fought other fighters more than Keith Thurman and Terrence Crawford? But this ain't about no motherfucking Terrence Crawford. This is about my boy Keith. And Keith is the number one. And the reason I say he's number one, because he had the 2 belts and he didn't lose. He didn't lose his belt in the ring. He vacated his belt so the shit could move on. He didn't lose in the loss in the ring. That's why he's still the number one welterweight in the world. The fuck are y'all talking about? When you say the most popular, talked about welterweight right now, yeah, Errol Spence can get that. But if you talking about who really the king of the welterweight division, get the fuck out of here. And Keith Thurman got it out the bottom. Keith Thurman won behind no Floyd Mayweather or Floyd Mayweather boosting his name up. And to be honest, Errol Spence piggybacked off the name of Keith Thurman. You didn't know who the fuck Errol Spence was until Mayweather started backing him up and he mentioned Keith Thurman's name and Mayweather put him on Keith Thurman back. Let's be serious now. It's facts. This ain't no motherfucking me just being a biased fan or nothing. It's facts. I seen this shit. Didn't nobody know about Errol Spence. First time we heard about Errol Spence was when Floyd Mayweather mentioned him to fight Keith Thurman. And then everybody started picking back. And half you motherfuckers who sent me to my child Errol Spence fan, y'all was Keith Thurman fans before Mayweather backed Errol Spence up. Facts. Y'all was Keith Thurman fans before Errol Spence got backed up by Mayweather. And the only reason, the only reason Mayweather backed up Errol Spence is because Mayweather didn't want to fight Keith Thurman. Sam Watson them been in Keith Thurman's career for a long time. And I'm quite sure they told Mayweather, do not get in the ring with that boy, because that boy didn't learn how to box and he got power. Will Floyd have beat him? I don't know. But by business-wise and Sam Watson them already watching him, I'm sure they got Floyd Mayweather in and told him, don't get in the ring with that boy. He was Mayweather's mandatory for 2 years. Then they moved Mayweather up to Super WBA Welterweight Championship so he wouldn't have to fight Keith Thurman. And if you think I'm lying, go and see how Keith Thurman talks about his belt that he holds now. Keith Thurman has no mandatories thanks to Floyd Mayweather. If the WBA picked Crawford as his mandatory, Keith Thurman would not have to fight him because he's the Super WBA Welterweight Champion. The Super WBA Welterweight Champion has no motherfucking mandatories. That's how Floyd got over Keith Thurman. Huh, fool? Huh, fool? That niggas want to sit here and talk about this man is the number one. Man, get the fuck out of here. And everybody, and I got to bring this up right now. Why ain't y'all asking this boy why he still ain't signed up for the WBC Clean Boxing Program? Fuck with them other channels talking to y'all about. Me and Trav, FDY, is telling y'all the motherfucking truth. This man has to sign up in order to fight for the WBC title. Period. And he still ain't signed up. But everybody ducking him. Everybody who's under it ain't fighting him. But everybody ducking him. Get the fuck out of here, man. That man ain't the number one shit. He's the number one talked about welterweight in the world right now because Keith Thurman is down. Don't y'all ever disrespect my motherfucking boy like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please. Errol Spence ain't motherfucking got no 2 belts. He ain't held 2 belts. He ain't vacated 2 belts. He ain't had 2 belts around his waist. How the fuck is he the king of the welterweights? This man vacated. He didn't lose. Motherfuckers. Now, when y'all do see my boy come back, which I hope he do come back, and I hope he come back as motherfucking bad as the same Keith Thurman that I seen before. Because Keith Thurman is not no joke. Keith Thurman is the king of the welterweight division. His resume proves it. If Terrence Crawford was to go and get 2 belts at welterweight, then we could compete with that and saying that Terrence Crawford is the king of the welterweights. But by y'all saying Errol Spence is, get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck what y'all say about Keith Thurman didn't fight him, or it ain't happened yet, or nothing like that. Until it happens, he is not the king of the motherfucking welterweight. It is Keith Thurman. Stop bullshitting yourselves and the public. Stop dick riding and joining on motherfucking bandwagons because you hear Mayweather running behind somebody and you know you see certain fighters behind somebody. Get the fuck out of here. This man motherfucking resume speaks for itself. He has fought more better fighters than motherfucking Errol Spence. Whichever way you want to put it. How was he the king? Errol Spence has not had 2 belts. Doesn't hold 2 belts. Hasn't had 2 to even vacate 1. But yet he's the king of the welterweight division. And I also had to refute something that I said too. Travis Goddard really brought up the flute situation with Keith Thurman. I had to check the dates on videos. So I have to get at the Travis Goddard. Travis Goddard actually brought up the flute situation. So I have to take that back. I didn't see that video until tonight when I was researching on what I was going to talk about to y'all. But what I then came back is that these motherfuckers ain't really speaking facts. These motherfuckers just have biased opinions on Keith Thurman. But if you break it down and you look at the whole situation of boxing, Errol Spence still is not the motherfucking king of the welterweight division. And even if you want to argue that when he go get a belt, unless it's from Terrence Crawford or from Keith Thurman, you still can't debate that he's the king. He's not the king until he beat them top names that control the belts, that have the belts. Even if he goes to beat Sean Porter and Danny Garcia, or Danny Garcia, whoever becomes the WBC champion, he still hasn't beat Keith Thurman. So he can never be the king of the welterweight division. It's the same situation of when they said Mayweather needed Pacquiao. Mayweather didn't need Pacquiao. Mayweather could have retired at 49-0 without the fight of Manny Pacquiao. And his legacy still would have been straight. Which there's, you know what I'm saying, chinks in the armor of his legacy. I'm not going to go into that for him to be the so-called TBE. But Keith Thurman does not need Errol Spence. Errol Spence needs Keith Thurman. Pay attention to that. Like I told y'all, you would have never known nothing too much about Errol Spence besides him mentioning Keith Thurman and Mayweather putting his name out there. Other than that, you wouldn't know nothing about Errol Spence. Errol Spence will be the IBF champion and you'll still be looking to see what he could do. You wouldn't even know his fucking name. And that's just being serious. That ain't being biased or nothing. I know that for a fact. He piggybacked off Keith Thurman's name and Mayweather helped him do it. But at the end of the day, my dog Keith Thurman is that guy. And whenever he comes back, they going to have to deal with him. He does not need Errol Spence. Terrence Crawford ain't in this. So somebody say, well, does he need Terrence Crawford? Terrence Crawford ain't in this. Terrence Crawford will make his legacy bigger than what it is if he was defeat Terrence Crawford. But Keith Thurman does not need Errol Spence. Errol Spence needs Keith Thurman. Period. But it's easy work, Boston. Thank you for your time. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching the video. Take care of you and yours, your family, and everybody you care about, your loved ones, friends, and all. I'm out.